Morning, you guys. How are you? How are you this morning? I am happy that it is Saturday right now. So I'm happy that it's Saturday because the week was a week. So yeah, I just thought I'd sit down and sort of do another chit chat, get ready with me. But this one, I've really been, let me make sure I've really been sort of on a journey as far as money goes. That's been a major theme in the last couple of weeks, just because, I feel like a lot of times people unintentionally sort of pressure you into feeling like you need to make a certain amount of money. But I know that for me, so I graduated 4 years ago. I graduated in 2020. And, I know that for me, for the longest time, I was sort of but felt pressure to try and keep up with usually my family. So I'm the youngest. I have an older sister, and so I'm the youngest one. And both my parents and my sister and her husband, incredibly successful people, like very successful. They've done well for themselves. They are by no means the wealthiest people in the world, but they have done very well for themselves financially. And so for me, coming out of college, I really felt this pressure to try and keep up with them, and spend the money and do the things and just keeping up in general. I felt this pressure to try and keep up with how they spent their money, with how they enjoyed and partook of life. And, I've gone through different periods where it's like, okay, I can, they're not doing anything, so I'm actually able to save money. And then I've gone through periods where, okay, I've spent outside of my means, not because I necessarily wanted to. Now, trust me, there are times when you spend money and it's like, why did I do that? But for the most part, there's been a lot of moments when I've spent money, when I've invested in something, or when I've participated in something that it was like, I really didn't need to, but I felt this pressure to. I felt like, okay, in order to keep up, in order for them to keep inviting me to stuff, in order for them to, in order for me to stay in a good relationship with them, and this is not true, just so you know, this is just my mental, chaotic mind, but I felt like in order to maintain a good relationship with my family, that I had to, spend the money, that I had to drop money on different events and different things that they were doing, or going out to eat, or, buying certain drinks, or investing in right? I never felt like, oh, let's say my sister and I went shopping. It never felt like I can go and not spend money. I always felt this pressure to spend money. And in the last couple of weeks, I've sort of just been coming to this place where it's like, okay, obviously I don't believe that I should be operating out of a scarcity mindset, but I also know that I'm not going to get anywhere if I keep on operating out of this place of trying to keep up, but not actually figuring out my finances, not actually, doing what I need to do to save money up and build my own financial, I'm going to say, position. I know that I'm never going to get anywhere if I don't take care of me, if I don't take care of what I have and figure out what I need to do. And so, a major part of that has been, coming to terms with the fact that it's like, okay, I'm allowed to be broke, right? I'm allowed to be broke. And that's been a really hard thing to to do, to allow myself to be broke, basically. Because, so my sister, she got married when she was super young. And her husband, like, they got married after the freshman year of college. And they were definitely allowed to be broke. But like I told my mom the other day, I said, when they got married and after college, they were broke. And the whole family's response was, well, then I guess we just won't do anything, right? We'll figure out something else. We'll figure out, cheap or free ways to just hang out. We don't have to go out to eat. We don't have to go to these events and, yada, yada, yada. We don't have to do that. We can just sort of hang out. And, what I told her was that when I graduated from college, it felt like I was never allowed to be broke. Obviously I was, but it always felt like they weren't going to stop. And my response to that was, well, I have to keep up. And so for the last, 4 years, that's all I've been doing is just trying to keep up. It's just trying to stay relevant to them. Now, I have an incredible family. Don't get me wrong. I have an incredible family who, they're very loving and they're awesome and very supportive and everything like that. But I found myself applying pressure to myself to, like I said, keep up and to be in a position that I'm not. To be in a position that I'm not yet in. I believe that I can be in that position. I believe that I can be in a position where, oh yeah, I can easily go to these events. So yeah, I can easily, go out to eat on a Saturday night, whatever. But that I'm having to learn how to let myself be there. And I'm having to learn how to say, okay, I am allowed to struggle and I am allowed to be trying and be saving money, and I'm allowed to say no, right? I'm allowed to say, you know what? Sure, I'm going to go to this restaurant with you guys. I'm not eating, but I'm going to go with you. I mean, I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to, say that I'm going to stay home. I'm allowed to say those things. I'm allowed to say no. And, I think that this whole situation goes back to my earlier video where I was talking about, like, taking control of my life. And I felt like this was definitely a major area. And I even talked about money in that video. I felt like this was a major area where I wasn't really taking control of my life. Was financially, I was just sort of reacting. I wasn't actually planning. I wasn't actually thinking it out. I wasn't actually saying, okay, you know what? This is my goal. This is what I need to do. Right? They are welcome. My family is welcome to go and do whatever it is that they want to do, can do, are able to do. But that doesn't mean that I have to also do that. That doesn't mean that I have to try and keep up. And they're not expecting me to keep up. They invite me because they're my family and they're nice. But they're not expecting me to say yes all the time. And any pressure I might feel to say yes is simply them not wanting me to miss out. It's not a pressure of, well, we expect you to be here. It is a pressure that I'm applying, and that they don't want me to miss out on whatever fun that they're having, basically. And so that's been a major, I'm going to say, breakthrough as far as my transformation has gone, is just how I am responding to the money situation. Because it's a situation. Like just the other day, my mom and I, we went like shopping and everything like that, and right out of the gate, I just decided that it's like, I am not buying anything. Like, I have a couple things that I need, that like I actually legitimately need, but I'm not buying anything. And I sort of told her that, but it was just how I was approaching the day. And I had a great day. We both had a great day, just because it's like, okay, I'm I know how much money I have, and I know what I don't have. And I'm not willing to just spend it because, oh, we're shopping, so I guess I have to spend money, right? And I got to the end of the day and it didn't feel like, because I've had those days after shopping where it's like, you get home and you think, oh my, right? What am I gonna do? I I spent all this money on this or that, and it's beautiful and I love it, but I also have this feeling of, oh no, and I really shouldn't have done that, and I should have waited, and I should have thought this through, and those feelings. I finished that day off without any of those feelings. And alongside of this whole process has been me figuring out how to make money. Figuring out, okay, so this is my, this right here is what I'd like for my career to be. I think that this would be an awesome thing. How can I do that? And figuring out, okay, if my channel isn't really making money right now, how can I start making money? And figuring all that stuff out. And so I'm going to link it down below, but I took this masterclass. It was a free masterclass, and it was all about how to basically get paid brand deals. So if you are like in this space, or if you're on Pinterest, or if you're on Instagram, or if you're doing whatever, I mean, it could be whatever, right? It doesn't have to be social media. It can be anything. If you're a photographer, I took this masterclass and it was all about how to land paid brand deals and how to actually pitch brands, like pitch to brands, because that has been a mystery to me since I got on YouTube. I mean, everybody talks about how it's like, oh yeah, I just like emailed them and I sent them, my portfolio, and then we started working together. And it was like, okay, number one, like, who do I contact? I mean, who do I actually contact? Who do I talk to? How do I find their email? Because the only email I can find is contact@company.com. And, so who do I email? What do I say in my pitch? What do I send them? How do I market myself? Because, I mean, obviously this channel right now, at least, it's very small. It's very small, and it's not, I'm not a mega YouTuber or anything like that. But I also know of small YouTubers that are very successful, and that it is, their full-time job. And so I took this free course, and this free masterclass, and then I got plugged into the course and everything like that, and I mean, it has helped me loads. It has helped me so much, and I'm already in the process of working with brands within like a month of signing up for this course, basically. And so I'll link the details to the free masterclass down below. And it is, even the free masterclass, it was such an eye-opening class, because, they talk about, okay, so why brands aren't, right? Like, why brands don't want to work with you. They talk about, they talk about things like, let me see. So this masterclass, yeah, this is similar. I took one that it was all about working with brands on YouTube. But this one is very similar, and it's talking about, let's see, what are they saying? Like, why brands say no, how to show brands your how to show brands your value, how to make your pitch, basically, and that, when I say that, I mean, like, writing your email, and, like, just all the stuff like that. All these things that, for me, it was just a completely new world. And it's super difficult because, I don't know, I feel like on paper I'm pretty boring, but figuring out how to show what value you have and how to actually get in contact with the people that you want to work with, and obviously how to start making money doing what you love and talking about brands that you love. And so that's been a major part of this whole money transformation. So, obviously spending less and knowing how much money I have, but on the flip side, figuring out, okay, how do I make money? How do I actually make more money? Because, where I'm at, it's pretty stagnant. It's pretty, like, this is how much you make, and, I'll be honest, it's not enough. It's not enough to actually grow and to actually make progress financially in particular. It's just not enough. And so figuring out, okay, how do I start to make money in other areas? And, I think that is, that's huge, to figure out and be creative with, okay, how do I make money? How do I make money, being what I am? How do I make money doing what I'm doing? How do I make money, through all of the work that I'm already doing, that, I don't have to do something additional, right? Like an extra job, because right now I'm already working 3 jobs, including this. And so it's like, I don't have more time, but I have something here that, in my eyes, is very valuable. I think that you guys are very valuable. I think that this community is valuable. And so just figuring out how to utilize what I have and how to not profit and take advantage of it, but how to utilize it, how to actually, I guess, I don't know, I don't want it to sound like, oh, I'm taking advantage of you, but how I use this community and this platform to start actually making a living, basically. And I think that that's what anybody who gets on social media now, that's a major part of of people's desire to be on social media. Obviously I'm sort of using this as my personal diary right now, at least, but it's also one of those deals where it's like, I would love for this to be my career, because I love talking to you guys, and I just like the idea of talking about how I'm growing and the things that have helped me, and that being my job, like helping people to grow and improve their life. I think that would be just an awesome life. I feel like that would just be amazing, and such a privilege to do on an everyday basis, trying to find things for you guys, trying to find, things that you guys can do and use. And, that's sort of how I feel about this masterclass. This is such a valuable masterclass, because, these people that teach it, they actually have worked and do work with brands. Like, they know the inside scoop, basically. They know what brands are looking for. They work with brands and know that it's like, oh, well, this is why, an influencer or a content creator, this is why they are not, succeeding in getting brand deals. It's because of this, or they're doing this, or they're, this is what they're showcasing instead of this. And so I think that, finding valuable things like that to help you wherever you're at, it doesn't work for everybody, obviously, but for those of you that it does work for, that's what I want to try and do. And so finding new ways to do that and being creative with how I do that and how I present my information, and how I present myself on this channel, and just trying to be authentic and learning and figuring out how I can start making an income doing that. I think that that's huge, and I think that that's huge for anybody, right? And that everybody's sort of on this mission of, okay, like, this is what I want my life to look like. This is this is what I love. Now, how do I make money doing it? I mean, I think everybody is on that journey, and everybody's always on that journey. But that's been a major thing for me as I have been working through this transformation and making changes and doing the things, right? Is that, okay, the money. And I think that a lot of people will try and tell you things like, oh, like, the money doesn't matter and all this stuff. But, and I truly do believe that when money isn't your sole focus, that you can have a life that you really love. But at the end of the day, you also need money to survive, in order to do things, in order to grow, and to just exist on a basic level. You need money. And so learning about that, and learning how to not be ashamed of my financial situation, and learning to not be embarrassed of it, and to just sort of say, okay, like, this is the situation that I'm in. How do I move out of it? How do I move on? How do I take the next step? What is the next step? And where do I go next? And not being ashamed of asking those questions, but being attentive to them, and being open to whatever answer might present itself. Because I feel like a lot of times, I know this is true for me, is that I get my eyes, like, set on something and my mind set on something, and then I refuse to let myself like, explore other options, and I refuse to allow life to present me with other options, because in my mind, this is how it's got to look. That's why I stayed in the makeup industry. That's why I stayed doing my YouTube channel the way I have for the last 4 years. That's why I've been doing it the same way and not succeeding. And so when I choose to say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to keep my eyes open. Sure, my goal is to make YouTube my career, but keeping my eyes open and keeping my mind open to the fact that maybe it's going to look different, because I feel like YouTube is right, and I feel like, I love the platform, and I love creating videos for you. And so being open to it looking different, and being open to the fact that it's like, just because this is what other people have done, and just because this is what other people are doing, that doesn't mean that it's got to be how I do it, and that I'm allowed to be where I am, and I'm allowed to create what I create. And that is all, that is the essence of building a career that you love, is doing what you love unashamedly, and seeing the value in what you have to offer. And yeah, so those are just a couple of thoughts that I've had primarily about my current money situation, and how, okay, so this is what's going on, how do I handle it, but how my mind has sort of shifted from feeling pressure, and how my mind has shifted away from feeling pressure from my family, from my friends, and how I'm really dealing with that is just being okay with being broke. Being like, you know what, that's the way it is right now. I don't have to pretend I'm not broke. but not settling for broke. You know, being okay with the fact that, yep, I don't have a lot of money, but actively finding new ways and creative ways and good ways to start growing my finances and to start making money. So that's sort of where I am. I don't know if any of this makes sense to you. Hopefully it does. And hopefully you enjoy this video. So yeah, thank you so much. And again, if you are interested in taking that free masterclass, it's on June 27th. So I'll put the link down below and you can find out all about it. It is a one-time airing. It only airs once and they don't send out free recordings. So, but definitely get on that list, because if you're interested in making money, working with brands, then this is an awesome company to learn how to do it through. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day. So yeah, I'll see you later.